Hello and good morning, friends. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about everything budgeting, cash stuffing, and envelope life. Yeah, that's basically it here. So today's video is a serious one. This is how we are determined to stop living paycheck to paycheck. You can live paycheck to paycheck regardless of how much those paychecks are, right? Regardless of how much you make. If you are not managing your money well, you can still live paycheck to paycheck and it is stressful. So I am going to walk you through what we do every day before we get paid. This is how we tell our money where to go, determine how much money is coming in, what it is going to do, and how much we have left over so that we can then plan for the upcoming 2 weeks with that money and further into the future using our envelope system so we are not stressed and strapped and end up with, more week than money before the next paycheck. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stay tuned and we are going to jump right into it. Okay guys, I have got y'all zoomed in a little bit more because you're going to need to see some of these numbers and things, and I know that you can't see the sunflowers as well, but they're gorgeous and they make me happy and they make me smile. And on videos like this, that is something that's important. So to start with, let's talk a little bit about what led to this point. We have been cash stuffing and living that lifestyle off and on. Unfortunately, it has not been nearly as diligently as we should have. My husband is the primary breadwinner, makes a really, really good income, but we were still finding ourselves essentially living paycheck to paycheck. We were tired of that, and we decided that it was time for that to stop. What we did when we finally got to that point was we went and got a printout, and I would highly suggest that you do this as well. We got a printout from the past 2 months of bank statements. And what that allowed us to do was to go through and highlight. I would take one color for our bills, right? Your mortgage, your rent, water bill, electric bill, internet, those kinds of bills. Okay, bills that you have to pay every single month. Highlight those in both of those printouts, so for both months, and you're gonna have a pretty good idea of what those bills are. Then we took another color and we broke down all of our discretionary spending. Okay, that was the eating out, extra at Walmart, Target, going to TJ Maxx, clothes, home decor, stuff for the kids, all of that kind of stuff was in a completely separate color. So by the end of it, every item on your printout is color coded. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get a calendar. I use, this is just an Erin Condren monthly planner. You can use literally anything. It doesn't have to be something that you go and purchase. You can print out a calendar from the internet and use it, and it works just as good. So we went and I added all of our bills to my monthly calendar. Now, when you use 2 months worth of printouts, you're going to get a really good idea of exactly what day your bills either come out if they're automatically drafted like ours are, which does make it easier, or what day they are due, provided that you've been paying on time. That's a big if. If you haven't, you need to go back to your bills and make sure that you get the actual due dates so that you can avoid late payments. But for us, it made it really easy because everything except for 2 bills or 2 car payments, everything is automatically drafted. So I was able to tell what days things were coming out and for what amounts based off of my bank statements. So none of this was a guess. This was all very, very accurate. And this was bills only. Okay, this did not include, nothing on here is that discretionary spending. Okay, because that's what we had to get a handle on. Things were wildly out of control. Okay, just to kind of give you an idea, it was pretty bad. So we put just the bills here, and once you get these down on paper, once you add this up, and you can even break it down by paycheck. Okay, so the first paycheck, I have X number of bills coming out versus my income. When you look at just that number, you are automatically going to feel better. I promise you, you're going to realize things are probably not as bad as you think they are. And it's just a weight off your chest that now you know. And for some reason, just the knowing part of it, before you've actually done anything, just the knowing part makes you feel better. So you may notice here that mine are in 2 different colors. So I highlight the payday. So say August 9th, here was our first payday in August. The bills that have to come out of that particular paycheck that's all highlighted in the same color. You see all this yellow here. Okay, then the second paycheck in August will be the 23rd. Everything that has to come out of that paycheck is highlighted in the same color. Now, obviously, the next payday will be September 6th. So all of that first week's of September, that has to come out of this paycheck as well. Now, a good rule of thumb that you can pretty safely follow, you'll want to double check just to make sure yours actually fall into this too, but ours always have. You can go back up to the first of the month, and the things that are highlighted in the same color as that last paycheck are the things that are also going to be on that first week of the next month that you're going to have to cover. So if you're somebody that doesn't want to do, 2 weeks ahead and have half of your week on September's, like on the next month's written in, you don't have to. You can pretty safely use the top portion of your month, what's highlighted in the same color, because these are the same recurring bills on the same dates for the same amounts, right? So we know pretty well what to expect. So once you've gotten to this point, like I said, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel more in control because you are. At this point, we know how much you're bringing in because you know what your paychecks are and you know what your bills are going to be. So what I do from here for each paycheck is I have created this paycheck planner. If you guys can see this, but it breaks down your income, your ending balance, what you're going to put to savings, what your expenses are, and there's even a little spot there at the end of the 2 weeks for this particular paycheck to write your total expenses, and what your ending balance actually was. So we use a zero-based budget. Now, what does that mean? That means that every time we get paid, every dollar that comes in gets told where to go. And that is one of the most important parts to not living paycheck to paycheck. You are going to tell your money what its job is. That money does not run you. You are in control of each and every single penny from each and every single dollar that you earn. Now, this is why you do this before your paycheck. Because by the time this is filled out, you are going to know exactly what to do with every dollar of that paycheck. For us, when our paycheck comes in, I've got this sheet already filled out. We have a few different bank accounts. We have one that is our bill account. We've got one that is my gas and grocery account, and I'll break that down and explain that a little bit more here in a minute. And so I know the second that we get paid how much money I'm transferring to the bill account and how much money I'm transferring to the gas and grocery account. What is left over is what we cash stuff, save, pay down debt, and do all of the other things with. But I know from this sheet right here, hey, bills are covered. If there's $2 left over, great. If there's $200, great. That's just that much more we have to do the extra things with. But we're not worried about the bills because the bills are covered, and we know that from the get-go. And believe me, it is such a load off of you to know that. So let's get into how we break this down. All right, so the income, actually the date for this one will be August 9th. That's the paycheck date. Okay, so that's what paycheck we're working with. The income here will be $67.01. That is my husband's paycheck. That's what comes in. Okay, so this amount to savings, that's what we're going to figure out in a little bit. And then this ending balance, we always want to be zero because this is a zero-based budget. So you always want to tell every single dollar where to go. Now, on August 9th, we will have paycheck number 1 come in. Okay, that amount will be $67.01. We know this because my husband is salary. The first paycheck and the second paycheck are different. This is the first paycheck of the month, and this is always what it is. Now, we share a phone bill with my sister. And so on the 15th, she pays us her portion of that, and that is $200. Now also, and I did this backwards, my OCD brain, that should have been up there with the other August 9th income, but that's okay. I will pull from my business. We will pull $400. So this is what our total income is going to be. So on the 10th, so 8, 10, we've got our miscellaneous and weekly expenses. So the miscellaneous for $125, that is just our weekly spending for kind of whatever extra spending that we need. This weekly here, this is our gas and grocery money. And I break it down like this because, you know, I cannot write and talk. You're gonna have to forgive me because I will sure enough be meaning to put a number and start writing words there if I try it. But I break it down like this because the miscellaneous comes out in cash and goes in my little green weekly binder. The weekly gets transferred to the gas and grocery account that we use the debit card to spend out of because, I mean, with 3 kids, hello, I am not going into the gas station every time we get gas to pay for it. And I am not going into the grocery store to grocery shop. So we order our groceries online and obviously swipe the debit card at the gas pump. So that is what that account is for. Now over here, we've got 812 and Mela. That is the store that we get all of our household goods. That's not like food or paper products. All of our personal care, snacks, vitamins, household care, you know, laundry detergent, dishwasher pods, all of that. It's an American, kind of an American-made general store, for lack of a better description, but it's so much cheaper and it saves us so much money. So that's what that is every month. And on the 15th is also my grandmother's birthday, but that is so we've got our phones and our internet on the same bill. Before you gag at how expensive that is, because yes, that is $450. Keep in mind that my sister also has 2 phones on this. So $250 is for all of our cell phones and our internet, which is, it's really not as bad as it seems, I promise. Then on the 16th, our water bill comes out, our trash, and our gas bill. We have natural gas here, which is great because I love like our gas log and all of that, but y'all, it is expensive. Summertime, not so much, but in the wintertime, this bill gets up there. It's kind of ridiculous. On the 17th, again, we have our miscellaneous, $125, and the gas, grocery. Okay, we are almost done here. Our security system. And the boys, we do have both of the boys in Taekwondo. You know, that is not a cheap activity, just FYI. If it is something you are considering, just know that it is not cheap. See, I told y'all I can't write and talk. Our insurance is pricey, but that is like, that's everything. Cars, boat, business, like the whole shebang gets paid there. So, and then the last one here is one of the medical bills to Children's Hospital here. So we've got everything written down, pulled from here, so I know exactly for this paycheck what all's coming out of that paycheck. So now you can shut this because you're done with it. You might ask, well, couldn't you just take everything, add it up, take your income minus whatever that total is, and just be done with it? And no, and you could. The fun thing, or at least for me, that I like to do, and maybe I'm a nerd with this, but I think it's beneficial too, is as things come through the bank account, I will take this sheet and I will highlight what has come through. And I know, hey, we're not waiting on that. It's through, it's done, it's been paid. And that way I can kind of keep up a little bit with, you know, are we using the buffer that we've put in? Was anything higher than it was supposed to be? Was something lower than it was supposed to be? I've had that happen, you know, where a bill comes in. Usually it's our gas bill. It comes in and it's like $15 lower than what it was supposed to be. So that's an extra $15 that we have to then take and transfer to our envelopes. So things like that. It's just, I enjoy being able to see what it was supposed to be and keep up with it like that. So we'll go ahead and add all this up now. 125 plus 325. Okay, and I am just realizing that, wait, no. Yeah, the way this paycheck fell was so weird. Because technically, we are always paying our car payments with this paycheck because this one has got the big house bills and stuff. And I think I actually am going to do that. I am going to bump these car payments up here. That way when we've got our big payments, because we've got our student loan payments here that come out of that first paycheck of the month too. And that is just, that's too much with the way that fell. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bump these up here. And then we're going to go ahead and add them on over here. We'll just add on. Before you come at me for these car payment totals, just know that is not the minimums. That is what we are paying extra, including the minimum plus the extra principal payments so that we can get these things paid off. We actually have, my car has a 0% interest rate and the truck I think is like 4%. So very low interest rates, which makes it excellent to be able to just throw extra on that principal and get them out of our lives, which is what we're trying to do. So let's add these in. Okay, so the total that's going to come out of this paycheck is $44.63. So what I'm going to do, because we have not gotten the payment from my sister yet, that's not due till the 15th, that is when she sends it, I am not going to include that yet in the amount that I'm pulling from the bank account, if that makes sense, okay? Because I know that on the 9th, the 6701 and the 400 will hit, so that's what we are going to subtract this total from. And for us, that is just a safety thing. I don't want to plan on that 200. You know, for some reason she doesn't send it, or she forgets, or she can't, or it needs to be bumped a few days, or whatever the situation is. I don't want to plan on that and cut us short. So when that comes in, that money just automatically goes over to envelopes. So obviously the total that we are pulling this $4,000 from is $71.01. Okay, we're going to subtract the $4,463. That is the total for these bills. Okay, that equals $26.38. And I always do a plus 200 here, just to remind myself that when that comes in, we're going to go ahead and add that to this total straight over to the cash envelopes. But what this allows us to do is be in total control of that paycheck, okay? So I am filming this on a Thursday. We get paid at midnight tonight. This paycheck will come in. When I wake up in the morning, I already know, before I do anything, that I am transferring $26.38 to the account that we pull for our cash envelopes, because that is the extra for this paycheck. I also know that this $325 here and the $325 here for the next 2 weeks, so that's $650, is automatically going to go to the gas and grocery account, and then this miscellaneous here and here we will pull out in cash to stuff my little weekly binder. So this is what we use. This keeps us in control, and that way we're not, you know, the way we used to do it is the paycheck would come in and, oh my gosh, we've got money, great, like let's go out to eat, oh well, we need this, or this, or the kids need this, or hey, I need a new whatever for the house, right? And we all do it. And then in a few days after we gotten paid, I would sit down and be like, okay, now it's time to pay the bills. Well, what you realize is if you have overspent, that all of a sudden you can't pay the bills. You're 2 days in to a 2-week cycle and you already are behind because you can't pay the bills because you overspent on the front end. So when you do this the day before you get paid, or even 2 days before you get paid, and you know, okay, you know what that number is, you know where your money is going to go, it already has been told where to go, you're not going to do that. And so that is how you break that cycle of living paycheck to paycheck and struggling to make it from each paycheck to the next. You tell your money where to go, and you know you have a very clear picture of what your money is going to do on the front end, so that you don't have to spend those few days going crazy with it and then sit down and have reality set in. So I hope you got something from this video. I hope this helps. I am going to put this paycheck planner, I will put a link to this in the description so that you guys have it. It's just giving it to you because it helps so much. It really didn't take me that long to come up with this, but this does help us. It's saved us, and it has helped us to break that cycle of being paycheck to paycheck. So like I said, I hope that you got something from this, and in the next video we will be cash stuffing the extra towards savings goals and just things that we know are coming up and all that kind of good stuff. So stay tuned for the next one.